I'm race ambiguous type of people. I know that's a popular joke. It's happened my whole life. Mainly it's people who think like, blackness is not a skin color. It's an act, or any race is an act. So people get confused, or they get upset, or they think it's funny. It's fine with me. That's okay. I actually at once had a guy. I was doing a show and I started talking about race, and I guess being black was in it. And after the show, he's like, "I had no idea you were black. But I'm colorblind." I'm like, dude, that's not how that works. It's not like this. It's not a stigma. You don't just like, oh, I don't see race. It's, you didn't hear race, right? Right? The whole time you watch me on stage, you're like, oh my God, is this Sir John A. MacDonald giving us some jokes? It just, it's a weird construct. So understanding a book like Racecraft is like it goes through the arguments of how race is a construct along with scientific evidence, and it's great. And I think I think it makes a lot of sense to me. It's the way I live my life now. So when people say you're not black, I'm like, all right, whatever that means, because blackness is just racism. That's what it is. It's, if you look at anything that's black culture or blackness, it's just a result of racism. Not to insult anyone, but that's what it is. It's like this happened because of the marginality of a group of people. Because black people are diverse. We're a whole bunch of different. It's a diaspora that's so diverse. So to narrow them down in itself is racist, right? Anybody. White people too. It's the same thing with white people. It's diverse. It's a diaspora. Like these are constructs created by owners. And, I kind of feel sorry for white people in that regard, because at least physically I can see my enemy when he's my boss. I can look at him and go, yeah, I don't look like him. I don't relate to him. And I can be like, yeah, I don't like that guy. And cops, bosses, it's all been like, I understand that. White people, it must be harder to look at someone and be like, yeah, that's for a lot of, not all white people. I'm sure there's tons of white people that don't like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you can look at your white boss and be like, I could invite him over for dinner, right? Like so like when we had the convoy rally here in Canada, the convoy was like our January 6th, except it lasted for a month of people just hanging out in our nation's capital complaining about COVID restrictions and lockdowns. So you have to understand with the trucker industry, like 90% of the truckers were getting the vaccine. They weren't against it. This was a small portion of independent trucking companies who also overlapped with like not paying their employees and stuff. There was like an overlap of that. Not paying employees, getting complaints, yada, yada, yada. Like a few months before, there was truckers in Brampton, Indian, who weren't getting paid. You didn't hear a word about that. So anyway, this convoy happened, and I'm watching CBC, our news, and there's a guy on there, white guy, living in this truck camper for a month. And he's like, oh, it's so amazing here. I love being here. It's awesome. My boss is paying me to be here for a month. Right, as a black person, if my boss is paying me to go to a protest, my alarm bells are going off. This white guy thinks it's the greatest thing on the planet. They're best friends. People clinging to race is natural. We as humans, whether you're white, black, or whatever, we as humans, that's what we do. We cling to identities. We cling to groups. It's safe. It gives us a sense of, like Heidegger said, we need to see ourselves in others. The problem is when we cling too hard to that identity, especially something like race, which, like I had a guy at a show once say that he's proud to be white. And it's like, but you didn't earn it. We didn't earn this stuff. We're just born into a shade of skin, right? Like it's not a team. And this is the problem, that this team that you're proud of is a construct created by people who own you. And it makes sense why we take that on. Because humans, under capital, under neoliberalism, we need to we need to atomize everything. Everything needs to be categorized and understood. It is literally a taking away of our humanity. It is like the messiness, the ambiguity is scary. To think the world is not as black and white as you think it is terrifying. But that's what I think. Anyway, what do you think? Tell me in the comments. Well, that's the episode. Thank you for hanging out and listening to me go on these rants in my brain.